The cabin's door creaked open like a coffin lid, and the first thing I smelled was blood, metallic, alien, and utterly wrong for a place that promised solitude. I had come here to vanish. After the accident that stole my wife and son from me, the world felt like a screaming void. Cities choked with people who offered empty condolences, jobs that demanded I pretend to care. The noise never stopped. So I sold everything, bought this off-grid relic in the Alaskan wilderness, buried under snow and forgotten pines. No neighbors for miles, no signal, just me and the ghosts in my head. The realtor had called it a survivalist's dream, with solar panels, a well, and a basement for storage. I didn't question the low price. Isolation was the point. But as I descended those rickety stairs into the basement on my first night, flashlight beams slicing through dust motes, I found something that shattered my fragile peace. The floor wasn't dirt or concrete. It was a seamless metal hatch, humming faintly like a distant engine. I knelt, fingers tracing cold edges, and that's when I heard it, a low, guttural growl from below, echoing like thunder in a cage. What kind of animal could make that sound? And why did it feel intelligent? Heart pounding. I pried at the hatch with a crowbar from my truck. It gave way with a hiss of pressurized air, revealing a ladder dropping into darkness. I shouldn't have gone down. Every instinct screamed to board it up and run. But curiosity, or maybe the death wish I'd been nursing since the crash, pushed me forward. The air grew thicker, laced with that blood scent, and as my boots hit the bottom, emergency lights flickered on, bathing the chamber in crimson glow. It was no basement. It was a lab, abandoned and high-tech, with consoles covered in frost, vials shattered on the floor, and in the center a containment cell of shimmering energy fields. Inside, chained to the wall with glowing restraints, was a figure that defied everything I knew about life. Tall, over 7 feet, with skin like polished obsidian armor, rippling muscles under iridescent scales, and eyes, 4 of them, burning with feral rage. Claws the length of knives scraped against the floor as it lunged, stopped short by the chains. An alien, a warrior, by the look of the scars and the jagged blade embedded in its thigh, oozing that metallic blood. I stumbled back, flashlight clattering. "What the hell are you?" I whispered, but it only snarled, a sound that vibrated through my bones. How had this been hidden here? Who built this place? And why me, of all people, to find it? The creature watched me, its multiple eyes narrowing. I could feel its intelligence like a predator sizing up prey. I backed toward the ladder, but a holographic display flickered to life on the wall, projecting a log entry. A woman's voice frantic, subject Zeta 9 secured. Containment failing. If you're seeing this, run. It's not what we thought. The message cut off with a scream. I froze. Run? To where? This was my escape. But as the alien strained against its bonds, whispering in a language that twisted my mind, I realized isolation had just become a trap. And whatever this thing was, it wasn't alone in wanting freedom. Days blurred into a tense standoff. I barricaded the hatch, but sleep evaded me. The cabin above felt haunted now, winds howling like accusations. I'd come here to grieve in silence, replaying the crash in my mind. The icy road, Sarah's laugh turning to a scream, little Tom's hand slipping from mine. Now, that pain mixed with new fear. What if someone came looking for this place? Government? Worse? On the 3rd night, hunger drove me back down. I brought scraps, venison from my stores, tossing them through the energy field. The alien devoured them with savage efficiency, then fixed those eyes on me. Human, it rasped, voice like grinding stones, accented but clear. It could speak. My language. How? I edged closer, rifle in hand. Who are you? What are you doing here? It tilted its head, scales shifting colors like oil on water. I am Krazek, warrior of the Vorith Empire. Your kind captured me, tortured, for secrets. Its claws flexed. Release me and I spare you. Spare me? The implication chilled me. Why should I? You look like you'd rip me apart. A low chuckle, almost amused. Perhaps, but your world hides greater threats. The ones who built this, they come back. Its eyes gleamed. We have common enemy. I left without answering, but the seed was planted. Common enemy? The log had mentioned containment failing. What if this Vorith was telling the truth? Or was it manipulation? That night, dreams plagued me. Sarah alive, but twisted alien eyes staring from her face. I woke sweating, drawn back to the chamber. The holographic logs were my next obsession. I hacked the console, old skills from my engineering days, unlocking fragmented entries. Scientists from a Black Ops group called Nexus Initiative. They'd found Krazeke's ship crashed in the tundra years ago during a storm. Experimented on him for advancements. Weapons tech biology, but he'd killed several before they subdued him. The last entry, evacuation ordered. Something about a breach signal sent to his people. His people. An empire. Coming here? My isolation suddenly felt like a bullseye. But as I watched Krazeke through the field, pacing like a caged lion, pity stirred. Those scars, burns, cuts, spoke of agony. Was I any better than his captors if I left him? The decision came at dawn. I disabled the field, heart in throat. He surged forward, but stopped inches from me, towering. Wise choice, human. What is your name? Alex, I said, voice steady despite the fear. Alex Harlan. He nodded, ripping the chains free with ease. Alex Harlan, you have honor, but freedom comes with price. He glanced upward. They will hunt us both now. What had I done? Released a killer into my world? Or forged an unlikely alliance? As we ascended into the cabin, snow falling thick outside, I felt the shift. Solitude shattered. Survival begun. But that was only the beginning. The wilderness embraced us like a reluctant ally. Krazeke moved with predatory grace, his wounds healing unnaturally fast, some alien physiology at work. We scavenged my supplies, food, tools, weapons. He eyed my rifle disdainfully. Primitive, he growled, but took it anyway. Tell me about your empire. I pressed as we fortified the cabin, boarding windows against the storm, and whatever else might come. Vorith, he said, voice rumbling. Worlds beyond your stars. Warriors bred for conquest. But I was exile. His eyes darkened. Betrayed by my own. Crashed here fleeing. Exile? Not a conqueror. Then. A fugitive. That changed things. Why betrayed? He hesitated, claws digging into wood. I refuse the great purge. Slaughter of lesser races. A moral warrior? The irony twisted in my gut. Like me, running from loss, he ran from conscience. But questions bred more mysteries. That night, sensors I'd rigged from the lab beeped. A drone in the sky circling. Nexus? Or Vora scouts? We hunkered down, but Krazeke's senses sharpened. Not human, he whispered. Mine. Yours? The betrayal deepened. If his people were coming, was I pawn or partner? Dawn brought no answers, only tracks in the snow, clawed, like his, but larger. We weren't alone anymore. Venturing out, we followed them. The forest whispered secrets, pines heavy with ice. Krazeke led, nostrils flaring. Hunter pack, he said, sent to retrieve me or eliminate. My breath fogged the air. Retrieve or kill? Which was worse? We crested a ridge, and there it was, a sleek pod half buried in snow, Vorith symbols glowing. But empty. Ambush. The attack came swift. 3 shadows leaped from trees, Vorith warriors, armored, blades extended. Krazeke roared, clashing with the first. I fired, bullet glancing off scales. Chaos erupted. Claws slashing, blood spraying, there's metallic, mine red if hit. I dodged a strike, rifle but cracking a helmet. Krazeke disemboweled one, but took a gash across his chest. Run, Alex, he bellowed. No. I stood my ground, pumping rounds into the last. It fell, gurgling. Victory? But as Krazeke slumped, wounded, I saw the pod's console blinking. Transmission sent. Reinforcements called. Our fight had just broadcast our location to the stars. What fresh hell had I unleashed? Escape now impossible. Alliance tested. And the real war looming. Weeks turned the cabin into a fortress. Krazeke, taught me basics of his tech, salvaged from the pod, energy shields, a communicator crackling with alien tongues. I shared human survival, traps, fire starting, the art of patience. Bonds formed in shared silence, stories exchanged by the hearth. He spoke of Vorith Prime. Spires piercing crimson skies, battles for honor, a code that valued strength over mercy. But his exile haunted him. I loved a queen's daughter, he confessed one night, firelight dancing on his scales. She advocated peace. They called it weakness. Killed her. I avenged too many. Echoes of my loss. Sarah and Tom, taken by a drunk driver, random cruelty. I couldn't save them. I admitted, blamed myself. Ran here to die slowly. His eyes met mine. Death finds us all. But fighting gives purpose. Purpose. Had I found it in this madness? But doubts lingered. The communicator intercepted messages. Vorith fleet approaching Earth. Not for conquest, for Krasake. He held a secret, something implanted in his mind. Coordinates to a weapon cache hidden on his world. If captured, the Empire would wield it unchecked. Why not tell me sooner? I demanded. Fear, he growled. Humans, untrustworthy. Trust, our fragile bridge. But as storms raged, a new signal pierced. Human. Nexus teams inbound. Satellites spotting the pod crash. Double threat. Vorith from above, humans from below. We planned evasion, but fate intervened. A blizzard trapped us, and in the wideout I heard Sarah's voice. Hallucination? Or something more. Krasake sensed it. Psionic echo. My kind's tech. Probing your mind. Probing? The Empire toying with me? Rage boiled. We had to strike first. But how? A lone human and exiled alien against galaxies? The answer lay in the lab's depths. Deeper levels I'd missed, prototypes. A teleporter, unstable but functional. Krasake's eyes lit. To my ship. Crash nearby. Repair it. Flee. Flee Earth? Leave everything? But as drones buzzed overhead, choice evaporated. We descended, activated the device. Reality warped, spitting us into another ruin. His vessel, buried in ice. Repairs began under duress. Tools hummed, sparks flew. Krasake's strength my ingenuity. But midway, betrayal struck, not his but mine. A voice in my head, Nexus offer. Surrender him. Gain peace. Fabricated? Or real? I shook it off, but he noticed. Doubt me, Alex? No, I lied. But the seed grew. What if he was the monster? What next changed? Everything. The ship hummed to life, engines thrumming like a heartbeat. We lifted from the ice, cloaked, evading patrols. Earth shrank below, a blue marble fragile. My home, abandoned for stars. Krasake plotted course to a neutral world. Epsilon Eridani outpost. Allies there. Erase the secret from my mind. But space was no sanctuary. Vorith interceptors swarmed, lasers scorching shields. Dogfight ensued. Me at controls, him firing. Hold steady, he roared. We escaped, but damaged. Crash landed on a moon, barren rock. There in the wreckage he revealed more. The weapon not for conquest. Defense against greater foe. The swarm. Hive mind devouring worlds. Swarm? Another layer. Earth in crosshairs? Why Earth? Your planet, key. Ancient artifact buried. Nexus found it, used me to decode. The cabin. The lab. All connected to some cosmic puzzle. My isolation a coincidence? Or fate? Repairs dragged, tensions rose. I dreamed of Tom alive calling. Psionics again. Krasake admitted. Empire's weapon includes mind control. They test on you. Test? I was bait. Fury erupted. You knew. Suspected. His apology rang hollow. Trust fractured. I considered abandoning him. But alone in void? Impossible. We pressed on, ship limping to outpost. Arrival brought no relief. Outpost overrun by Nexus agents? No. Vorith traders, loyal to the purge. Ambush. Battle raged. Corridors slick with blood, claws, and bullets. Krasake fought like a demon, but outnumbered. I saved him, taking a hit, laser burned searing flesh. Why? He gasped. Purpose, I echoed. Wounded, we fled deeper. There, a surgeon erased the secret. But cost, his memories of the Queen's daughter. Emotional lobotomy. He hesitated. Without her, who am I? The dilemma tore him. Keep the past, risk Empire's wrath? Or sacrifice for greater good? He chose erasure. Machine word, lights flashed. He emerged changed, colder, but free. But the turning point came then. Alarms blared. Swarm sighted. Not distant threat here now. Hive ships descending, tendrils probing. Wait, this was not what I expected. The Empire's lies unraveled. The swarm wasn't enemy, it was ally to the traitors. Krazeke's betrayal deeper. The purge was to join them. No. He stared, horrified. Memory's gone, but truth remains. I orchestrated alliance. Amnesia revealed horror. He was the architect, exiled for second thoughts. The secret? Activation code for swarm integration. Betrayal's sting cut deep. My ally the villain? But as hives swarmed, we had no time for recrimination. Fight or die. Escape pod launched us toward Earth. Warning must be sent. But pursuers followed. Re-entry burned hot, atmosphere screaming. Crash back in Alaska near the cabin. Full circle. Nexus waited. Armed teams surrounded. Surrender the alien. Krazeke, memory fragments returning, whispered. The artifact. In the lab. Destroy it. Stops everything. We charged, bullets whizzing. I covered, he barreled through. Down the ladder into chaos. Agents inside, activating the artifact, a glowing orb, pulsing. Swarm portal opening above. Climax roared. Krazeke clashed with guards. I raced to orb. How to destroy? Overload, he yelled, taking hits. I rigged consoles, energy surging. But a stray shot felled him. Alex, finish it. Tears blurred. Force Sarah Tom for him. I triggered. Explosion ripped through. Portal collapsing. Swarm repelled. Nexus scattered. But Krazeke lay dying, scales fading. Honor, friend. You gave me purpose, I said, hand on his. He smiled faintly. Live for us. As light left his eyes, snow fell softly above. The cabin stood silent, isolation returned, but changed. I was no longer alone in grief. The stars held stories, and I carried his. The wilderness whispered peace, but I knew. Threats lingered. Yet, in that moment, closure bloomed. Earth saved at cost, and as dawn broke, painting skies in gold, I stepped into the light, ready for whatever came next. The end? Or just another beginning?